Well, good evening and welcome to our November calendar series launch party. Let's just see if anyone shows up. I saw some people waiting. And sometimes it just takes a second to show. I don't see anybody. That's weird. Okay, let's just see. If I am showing live on YouTube. It says I'm live. Let's see here. Oh, there's the comments. Okay, I see it now. Okay, hello. It was just a little slow coming in, but I see it now. Okay, good. I was going to say, you know what? I can't handle another glitch today, so. So how did you guys enjoy all those fun emails you got today? Oh my gosh. Something happened behind the scenes and it opened up a little toggle and everyone got emailed to death. And once it started, there was no way to shut it off. They were all in a queue and they just kept going and going. So that was fun. Anyways, I think everything has stopped now. Oh, it was kind of a mess. I'm very sorry about that. A walk down memory lane. Yes, we saw a lot of people commenting. They're like, "Ooh, I forgot I bought that. Oh, yeah, I forgot I bought that." And we got lots of emails from people we haven't heard from in a while, and it was not fun. It was just not fun. Very stressful on our end too. Poor Shelby was at the store. It was something else. Anyways, it's behind us. And thank goodness for that. So we're going to move on and we're going to talk about November calendar. And you're looking at October and you're probably confused about that, but we only have one bundle left for October. So if you have not got your October bundle, this is your last chance. So I believe there's just one bundle left and then they're gone. So I just brought that on here to show you. I'm going to file mine away in my album, which is almost full, by the way. I'm very excited about. Oh, Tanya's back. She's just such a cheerleader. So we are going to do November now, and this is the second last month of our 2025 year. So what does that mean? Well, it's actually our last launch party for 2025. And then we are going to go into the December kit will come out in January. And then the last couple of years, I have done a title page bundle. Well, not bundle. We didn't do a bundle. I did a title page inspiration as well. And so I do actually have an idea for that. And I hope to work on that over the holidays. And so we can launch that in the new year as well. So there's lots to look forward to. Tanya's saying this series got me back into scrapbooking. Oh, you and me both, Tanya. You and me both. Because I am a card maker. We discussed that last night when I did my Craft and Connect live. But my heart is still with photos. I love to scrapbook. And the problem was I wasn't getting anything done. And I decided to do planner for a while. We did that for like 5 years, which I loved. But I got away from designing that just because I got busy with other things. And this was actually what I was planning on doing when we started planner, but then planner kind of happened. And then I was really excited to get going on this. So I've just completed, this is our third year. Yes. Third year. So I have 3 full albums done. So that's 3 years scrapbooked. I would never have that done if it wasn't for this series. So I have you guys to thank for that, I guess. Now I'm not going to lie. This wasn't even finished I just finished it Thursday night last week. That's it. Like that's how close I was. It has been a month, I'll tell you. We've been so busy. And every day I would get up and I'd say, okay, today I'm going to do calendar. Today calendar has to happen. And then there'd be emails and there'd be this happen, that happened, and this has to be done, and that has to be ordered, and this has to happen. And then all of a sudden the day would be over and I'd be like, okay, tomorrow's going to be calendar. And I literally finished it on Thursday. So it got to the point where I didn't have a choice anymore. But it is done and it turned out very nicely. And I am going to try to get started on our December page sooner rather than later, so that I don't feel stressed through the holidays, and I can because Christmas is kind of a special one, so I work well under pressure. Well, see, the thing is, Shelby, you don't see me work under pressure. That's the thing. If you could see me sweating and running around my craft room and cussing and doing all the fun things, you'd think I don't handle it well. But it usually works out well, and I'm quite pleased with the page. So you can see the calendar side of the page here, and it's always fun. So these are my 2024 photos, because I have to work kind of like ahead, because, or that's the plan anyway. I can't wait for all my photos to be taken. So I work kind of a year behind in photos. So it is fun for me to go back and look at the photos, like Olivia here. I mean, she's so different now. So it's kind of cool. And we'll talk about how I did the photos on this side, because you'll notice that there's some black and white and there's some color on this one. So that's the first time I've done that. But let's reveal the page. So this is the layout. November is kind of a funny month because it's fall, but we really do start leaking into the holiday season. So I kind of have a real mixture of photos in November, and yeah, and even trying to pick out which paper lines you want to use for November is tricky, because it's not really Christmas, it's not really winter, it's kind of one of those nothing months. So so I just picked a collection that I really thought was going to be fun to work with, and this is what we end up doing. So here on this layout side of the page, I chose photos that were still kind of fallish. But you'll notice on this side of the page, I definitely have some Christmas things going on, and Liam has started hockey. So we've got hockey pictures, and down here you've got photos with snow. So like I said, November is a sort of a mishmash month. So don't stress too much about what type of photos you have. This line is fairly generic, and I think it works for a lot of things. And I'm not going to lie, I pick out the collections that we use well in advance of sitting down to create. And I have no idea what photos I'm going to use. I mean, last night, Thursday, I was still sticking stuff down. So it has, like, I have no idea what photos I have available, and it has always worked out for me. So I think that you'll probably find the same thing. You can make it work. I even had to do a last minute title change on this page because I messed up one of the rub-ons, which I will also share with you. I'll show you what not to do because then you have to pivot, and yeah. So it will work perfectly for my Costa Rica. You know, Chris, I was thinking you should take me to Costa Rica, and I would make sure I pick out papers that would be perfect for your layouts. Doesn't that sound nice? I totally think I should do that. I would need to feel the vibe of your travels. And so, yeah, it's like, I think, oh, and Susan, I can go with you too. We could make that work. Anywhere else anybody needs me to go so I can, feel the vibe of your photos. These were taken in Elora, so nothing exciting. It's where I live. But I like to walk, and, some of my favorite places to visit. So anyways, let's talk about the bundle. Like, what do you get in this bundle? So your bundle is using papers and laser die cuts. We used laser die cuts last month too. I love these things. And it is from the Curiosities in Willow Grove collection from 49 and Market / Vicky Booten. So I watched Vicky's release video with this and 49 and Market. They did a collaboration video. And I fell in love with the collection. It's so generic, and it can be used for fall, but it can be used for just generic stuff. And I just thought, I really think that's a good one to work with for a calendar. So I ordered it. And it did. It worked out perfectly. So you're going to get a full package of the foliage laser cuts, and we will open that up and look at it in a minute. And you're going to get 2 pieces of pattern paper from the collection. So these papers are called, oops, from the side. They're called starter papers. So you're going to get starter paper 1 and starter paper 10. And then you're also going to get 3 of these chipboard frames that come in your bundle as well. And then there will be a color photo. Okay. Well, I'm so happy to hear you're not getting any more emails. Oh my gosh. That was something else, but we'll just put that behind us and pretend it didn't happen. Your spam folders and your inbox has got to work out. It's good to exercise them sometimes, I guess. So this is the bundle. And then as far as add-ons go, guys, I was really easy on you this month. So just remember that when I have a lot of add-ons, because some months it just works out that way. And some months there's not a whole lot. The only add-on this month is the rub-on package. And it is optional, but I will go through and show you how we used it, and then you can decide. So I love working with the rub-ons. 49 and Market, they make some of the best as far as I'm concerned. So as far as other add-ons go, where's my list? My goal in lives now is to not lose anything. So I'm trying to be really organized when I do my lives. Sometimes they get covered up by things, like my list got covered up by my October page, because when I took it off the screen, I put it on top of my list. But it's right here. So calendar die cuts. So those are your months that we cut out each month, the little die cuts. Now I do want to mention, you need to grab these when you see them. If you go back several months from now to pick them up, they may not be there, and we don't recut them. Cutting them is not an easy process. So we do them in a big batch, and we do enough that everybody, like we make as many die cut bundles as we have calendar bundles. So, but that doesn't stop like just regular old people just buying them. So they are up on our online store, and they're not restricted to just calendar people. So other people pick them up. So definitely make sure that you're buying these when you are buying your pages, because sometimes we get emails from customers asking us, can you please go back and, make me up die cuts for, these 6 months. It's like, nope, that's not happening. So make sure you're grabbing them when you see them. Okay. So that's the November bundle, and I'll just put the page back on here so you can see what they look like. These are the colors, and they coordinate nicely with the collection. And then while we're talking about those, we will talk about the cardstock that I used this month, because I know a lot of you like to pick up this Color Vibe cardstock. And these are the colors that I used. So I used mustard. I used rust. I used oatmeal. And I used avocado. Okay, so those are the 4 colors, and they do coordinate quite nicely with the line. So if you like to pick up extra sheets so that you can mat your photos, or whatever it is you like to do them, maybe you're just building up your stash, then those are the colors that we used. And then what else do we have? A lot of the basic things that I talk about each month. If you are planning to do this page for your with your bundle, then make sure you're picking up the blank calendar page. And I think I mentioned this last month that these were made by Photoplay, and Photoplay is no longer a company. So we didn't get any notice at all from them. They just shut the door, and that was it. So we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I mean, we have some in inventory, but we don't have like a forever inventory. So we have a company that we deal with that does our blank calendars. And so I went to them and I showed them, what we were using, and they have replicated it perfectly. So we have a lot of calendar paper already here and it's ready to use. So the transition into the new style will be almost seamless. The only thing that's different is the font that they used up here. And there is no barcode strip on the bottom. So you just get it and use it. And it's perfect. And the font is actually, I think, much cuter. So you won't notice the difference at all. Oh, Cooper says hi. So the calendar page is something you want to pick up if you're going to be doing this part of the layout. And then just basic supplies like a sanding block. I like to sand my photos when I craft. So if you're going to do that, you need your sanding block. Hi, buddy. Are you saying hi? And then you need your T-ruler if you're going to want to make sure everything is straight. I use that a lot for that. I recommend the Teflon bone folders for using the rub-ons. We talked about this last month. So you are welcome to go back and watch October's video if you want a little, you want to listen to what we talked about with the bone folders. But we carry 2 different styles, and both of them are quite nice for the rub-ons. And then working with the laser cuts, I highly recommend the glue press. You only need little bits of glue, and the die cuts are quite intricate, some of them. So it works really, really well to do that. But liquid glue is recommended for those. And then I did use my Walnut Distress ink and my applicator to add inking to the edges of my papers, and also an edge distresser. I haven't used that in a few months. We've recommended this lots of times too. So that's in the shopping section. Shelby, I forgot to have that on the list, but I added it. So it's in there. So don't worry about that. And then of course the rub-ons. And so that is it for add-ons. So there's no stamps or dies or anything. Yeah, I kind of went a little bit light. Now the bundle itself is a little more expensive. The laser cuts and the papers are a little bit more expensive. If you buy 49 and Market stuff, you know that the quality is unbelievable. So it's really awesome. And so the bundle is a little bit more, but again, you get almost everything you need in there. Okay, so any questions so far? Are we all good? What is happening? I think I have a poor connection tonight. Are you guys getting an okay video? Because comments are very slow coming in. And I just noticed my screen refreshing. So I'm wondering if there's just a icky connection tonight. So if you can, worth every penny. Oh, yes, thank you. I think so too. Looks fine on my end. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so while we have a little break here, if you could take just a second while you're watching this. Okay, thank goodness, because I don't need any more glitches tonight. And give this video a thumbs up. I notice a few of you have done that already, but it's right in front of you on the screen. Seriously, it makes such a difference for us, because what it does is it pushes the video out on YouTube, and it helps new people discover our videos and what we do. And we love that. So plus it does open up new features for us on YouTube, as well as subscribing to our page. Yeah, we're all glitched out. I'm done glitching for the day. I don't like being glitchy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how I created this. So we're not going to be creating any crazy backgrounds this month. So it's going to be pretty easy to put together. And even the layering of all of the florals is really easy to do. So it's not tricky at all. I guess one thing I will say is just have confidence in creating your clusters. The more you do it, the better you get at it. It used to terrify the heck out of me, and now I'm actually quite confident doing it. And it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you the die cut package. We'll open up this kit here. This is Amanda's kit. And I'm just going to show you what comes in the laser cut package, because it's a lot. So I recommend sitting down and punching out all of your laser cuts and putting them on trays of some sort so that you can see what you have. And it makes it much easier to find things. But here is page 1 of the laser cuts. And this one is the foliage package. So there's lots of florals and greenery, but there are also some really great word strips and things like that. So I've incorporated some of them into the layout, and there is flexibility within those that are supplied here as to which direction you kind of want to take your layout. So you do have flexibility. So there's some large ferns, and I'm just going to hold this up just so you can see how intricate those die cuts are. Like there's so much detail in them. It's kind of crazy. So pop those all out, and don't be afraid to tear them and rip them. Like I know for a fact this this leaf arrangement here, I pulled the leaves right off and I used individual leaves, and I will point out in the spots that I did that. But just pop them all out. So that's the first one. And then here is the second one. So you get another really nice large fern piece, and I did use both of those. You do get some smaller fern pieces as well. And then lots of florals and some mushrooms. And like I said, some really cool word strips. And you also get this, this branch, which I did use as well. I didn't really use a lot of the pink flowers. So when I was organizing my piles, I popped all the pink ones out and sort of set them aside. I'm not a super huge pink person myself, but I'm definitely not throwing them out, but I just didn't use them on this page. The colors that I was using with the papers didn't have a lot of pink in them, so I wasn't going to go that direction. But you can most definitely do that. I think the papers that we do use on the layout, like this is rub-ons here, so that can be left out. But they're very neutral. Like the background's quite neutral, so you could definitely bring pink in if you want. But it's not something that I did a lot of. Olivia has some pink in her snowsuit, so the pink flowers would definitely work, but I chose not to do that. And Susan is pointing out that she loves that the laser die cuts don't have a white border on them. And yes, it is kind of cool how they are just, there's no white edge at all. So I quite like how that looks. So that is the die cuts. Now I'm going to pull out mine because I'm going to show you a couple of things about the die cuts that you might not know or might not try on your own. So I have all of my extras here, and I'm just going to pull out some of them. I am going to grab a tray though, because these are going to go everywhere. And I'm trying to limit losing things and making big messes. Okay, so let's fold the adhesive back on this, and I'm just going to dump it out. Okay, so now on the inside, oops, we got some hearts here. On the inside of your packaging, this is the front. On the inside, this is the back side of that. And so you can cut this out if you want to. You have to do fussy cutting. Some beautiful frames are on here, and even some word strips and different things. So you could dissect those. I didn't use any of those, but you certainly can. This is actually a barcode strip from one of the papers. I thought I might use some of the tickets, but I didn't. But I am going to save this because I'm sure that I will be able to use them for something. So there's that. Now, these are all the die cut pieces. So just to show you how intricate some of them are, like that is a branch. And literally they just pop right out of the backing sheet. So they're not hard to get out. And they're very, very detailed. So look at these thistles. So you get, like, look how tiny those leaves are. But that's the detail that you get when you work with these. Now, what I do like to do with my die cuts, so here's a daisy, and you'll see on the page that I've created, I use the daisies quite a bit. So there's one here, and there's here, and there's here, and there's even a couple over here. Now, when I have this die cut, you can use it the way that it is, but I also like to crumple it up, just bend it. It's a very heavyweight die cut. So you just, like, I know you're thinking, what on earth are you doing? So this creates a lot of texture, and it actually makes the paper more pliable. And then I pull out my distress ink. Now, I have a group chat with my girlfriends, and I asked them in the group chat if anyone knew where I put my re-inker for my walnut stain distressing. Could they please let me know? I still have not found it in my room. I don't know where I put it, but it's here somewhere. And then I go over the flower like this. And when you've crumpled it up, it kind of pulls in the, oh, well, I might have made a mess of that, but it pulls in the detail of where your creases are as well. And so my flower ends up looking like this. I'm going to see if I have another one. I think I used most of the daisies. I don't think I do. I was going to put it next to something. Oh, here, I can use this. Nope. So this is another floral. So you can kind of see the different look that you get. I prefer this over this, but you can do either. But I do crumple them up and then I distress them. Now, when I do that, it adds a bit of volume to them. So I'm going to hold up. Let me see if I can do it. This section here. So see how everything kind of looks like it's popped up and layered. That is done by crumpling the paper. So definitely try to do that. And I did not use foam adhesive on anything except the acorn and then just behind the mushrooms just to support them. Everything else is pretty much glued down. But because they're kind of crumpled, I don't glue everything so that it's flat. I just use a little bit of glue and little sections of it get glued down, but then other parts are kind of bumped up, and I really like how that looks. And you can see the layering that is happening here. So I'm going to just go through each section of layering so that you can kind of see the details, because I know it's not going to show in the photo that we give you. The photo is for, you know, the basic layout design, but you're going to need a magnifying glass if you want to, you know, zoom in on it. But you can take screenshots on your phone and your tablets, and then you can zoom in on those. But for this one, so in the very back is one of the small ferns, and you can just see a little bit of it kind of peeking out at the top here. And then there's also a stem that has this, I don't know what that is, a coneflower of some sort with the yellow on it. And then I've got the branch, and you can see a bit of it sort of sticking out here. So that's one of those really fine branches. And then I've got a daisy, a mushroom cluster, and then an orange flower and an acorn. And then I've sort of tucked in this little sign here. Now, the top of that sign is already ripped like that. You don't have to do anything to have it look like that. But again, you can see that I've scrunched it up and added the ink just to add some distress. So I'm going to see if I turn this sideways. Can you see the dimension there? I know it's focusing on other things. Oh, there we go. So there is a bit of dimension on there. And that just naturally happens when you start layering all the pieces. And what I tend to do is kind of layer everything on my page first. Sometimes I take a picture of it with my phone, take it all apart, pull the picture up on my phone, and I just start adding the layers and putting little dabs of glue. But I don't have all the petals glued down. Like they're quite loose because it gives it that sort of whimsy look. You don't want everything to be sort of plastered to your page. Up here, we just have a single daisy, a couple of hearts, and then one of these little signs. Now I'm going to show you the sign. Oh, that's not the sign. Do I have a sign? Yep, I do. So here is one of the little signs. So look at, there's actually like a little thread that hangs. Oh, that's not focused. See the little thread? So that's very, very intricate. And again, I just scrunch it up and I add the distress ink. Okay, just pull it kind of back into shape, add the distress ink, and then go ahead and stick it down. And I think it looks really nice. But again, if you hate that look, then don't do that. But that's that little cluster there. And then over here, we've got one of the three, this is a 4-leaf cluster. And then the hearts, a yellow flower, another banner. And then there are these cute little bugs. I know those words don't really go in a sentence together, but here is one of them. This is a purple bug. And again, I just scrunched it up, break their legs, and then added some ink, and then I kind of popped it in on some of the flowers. So that's those 3 clusters on the calendar side. And then on this side, so these ones are a little bit more elaborate. So here we are. So to start the base is one of the large ferns. Okay. And then I just start layering. So there are some greenery pieces, and I think I used all the big ones. Let me just see what I have left here. Oh yeah, something like this. So there are some pieces like this. You can see the leaves kind of peeking out in the background there a bit. So I layered a couple of those in there. And then some of the larger flowers that have long stems on them. And then I just start, tucking in the leaves and adding some florals, the mushrooms, the acorns, and so on. And then there's the bug. And take your photo, pull it apart, scrunch it all up, ink it, and then start layering it up. And then you can see here is just a single leaf. That's where I took that orange leaf cluster, which kind of looked like one of these where it's got 3 or 4 leaves. And I just pulled the leaves off and I just tucked them in. And then I just laid one of the banners over top. So they're quite easy to create. You just have to kind of let it happen. And like I said, I'll hold this up nice and close. Hopefully you can get a nice screenshot and it'll help you kind of layer it together. But some of the things are hidden and you can't see them. And I'm also going to sort of tip this on the side there just to see if it will focus a little bit on just showing you the layering that happens. It's really nice. And then I kind of like overlapped my photo a little bit. And I mean, I have a tree in my photo there, so it kind of just looks like the greenery's, in the forefront of that. And then I just did a little cluster here. And this is just with some of the smaller pieces. Like there's a small fern and a really fine sort of twiggy thing. There's even one that has little purple ends on it. Do I have any of those left? Let me see. And I mean, all of this stuff is left. And I mean, if you're a card maker, all of these things can be used to make florals and fun things. So here's some of the more twiggy pieces. They're really, thin and, but they're nice for tucking in. There was some that had little purple flower. Oh, here's one. So here's one that has the little purple flowers on it. So I've tucked in one of those. And I do love the mushrooms and the acorns. That kind of brings in the fall feel. And then down here, a very similar one. Again, this is a large fern. And then just adding the flowers and different things on it. I did add a bug, tucked in another leaf, another sign, and the hearts. And then I even have just a smaller one up here with the title. So this is one of the smaller fern pieces. They're pretty much the base for my clusters. And then just sort of layering things on top. And you can see another little purple piece there, and then a little sprig coming out the top, another little bug. So that is how I kind of did those clusters. The frames are really fun to use. They are, they're chipboard. They're heavier, a little heavier than the laser die cuts. Just pulling them on here. So you get one black one, and they have these little tabs on them. And then there's a couple of yellow ones. So you're going to possibly see these frames pop up in other layouts moving forward, because I bought a bunch of packages, because sometimes I just want like little embellishments that I can add to pages that are not themed. And so I do my best layouts when I'm working with a non-themed paper collection. So yeah, I'm just sort of scouting out little things that I can kind of keep in the calendar stash that I can pull in and add to bundles, because I feel like it's really fun to play with. Now, what I didn't do on my layout is add anything to those tabs. But if you have small stamp sets that have phrases or words that you like to use on your pages, you can certainly stamp on there. They're like little tabs, so you can have fun with that. I haven't added anything to mine yet, but I might. And this rub-on here, which we'll talk about in a minute, it's actually one rub-on that I saw on another page. Somebody had done this, and I thought, oh, that'll work really nicely on my layout. So I did it too. So I cut the rub-on in half and used part of it here and then the rest of it over here. But I'm also thinking to stamp some words in there would be fun too. So if you have word stamps, you can kind of pull them out and use them. But the frames work so nicely to sort of, I'll say mat your photos, but my photos are actually in behind the frame. But it works out quite nice. I really love them. So that's how they look. And yeah, so now let's talk about measurements. and then I'll talk about rub-ons. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat, because I'm happy to go over something if you need me to. Like I said, we're not really creating a background today, so I'm not going to, have a lot to demonstrate per se. I am going to demonstrate the rub-ons though, because there's things you need to know about those. But let's look at our measurements here. I'll put my little thing up there. So starter paper number 1, which is the background piece. That's this one. You're going to use that full sheet as the background of your layout. What is Susan saying? You did a fantastic job on the layout. Well, thank you so much. When you're working with really good products, I find for me, it just kind of comes together quickly. And thankfully this month it did, because I was really, really running behind on the time to create it. So I was very grateful for products that kind of make me look really good. So this is where I got the ticket border. So you're going to cut that off. And then this is going to be your background. Now you'll notice that there is some collaging and stuff already done on the paper, which is kind of nice. And that's why I didn't have to really create a background. There's kind of one on there already. And then just by simply layering up our papers and clustering our ephemera and adding some rub-ons, we're going to get the job done quickly. So that is your background paper. And then the other paper, starter paper number 10, it actually has cut aparts on one side, and then it has that black floral on the other. And I just found this really striking. I thought, you know what, against the background, it just really pops off, which is what I was kind of going for. And it worked out quite well. Now, you're going to cut the border off. This is the barcode strip for this paper. So you're going to cut that off. But then I actually kept this and I stuck it to the bottom of, whoops, let's move that up. Stuck it to the bottom of the background page here. So that's optional. If you don't like that, you don't have to. But I thought with these rub-ons, it really kind of ties in the colors. Now, you will notice there is some stitching on there. It's faux stitching. I may add some stitching myself afterwards. I did not do it for the live. That is something I might add. I also thought of actually doing some stitching along the frames in a couple of spots, but I haven't decided. I might even decide to do it on the edge of the paper in a couple of spots, but I haven't added that yet. But yeah, you're going to cut that barcode off and put it at the bottom of this paper. And then from this, you want to preserve this row right here. So you're going to cut that off and set that aside. And then the piece that you have left will be 8 inches across. And then you want to shorten it to 10 inches in length. Okay, so you're going to cut off the notebook pieces and save them. And then from the black floral, cut a piece that measures 8 by 10. And then you're going to also use the barcode strip on the bottom of the paper for your main layout. Okay, makes sense? Yes? Perfect. Now I did use an edge distresser on my paper. So I'm going to hold that up and see if the camera, see how the edges are distressed. So again, that does create texture. I also did it on my title piece. And I did it on this piece over here too. So we are going to pull a little bit of the black over here. This is the piece that got cut off at the bottom. And I'm going to run it down the side here just to bring that black over. So you're just going to, I can measure that because I just had a scrap piece left over. Where's my ruler? A scrap piece left over, and I just thought it fit really nicely there. So again, it's 2 inches because it's the piece that you cut off the bottom. And then you're just going to cut it so that it fits within the grid of your background. Here's my screen doing that funny thing again. I'm glad you guys are not having connection issues. But yes, so that is that piece right there. And then this piece here is those notebook pieces that you saved, the top one. So that's a 4x6 piece. And that is just going to go right there. And then that's going to be sort of a spot where I end up putting another cluster of flowers and another photo. So that is that 4x6 piece. And then this one we're going to use for our title right here. Now, this is where I'm going to tell you about my flub. So here's the information about the notebook pieces that you saved. So the piece with the bow is the one that we use on the calendar side, and it measures 4 by 6. And then the notebook piece for the title, mine measures 2 3/4 this way, and then 5 inches long. Now yours might be a little bit different depending on what title you choose if you're going this route, but that's what my measurements were. So let me get out my rub-on package because I'm going to show you what I did. And I do not recommend it. So I kind of looked at the rub-ons, and sometimes it takes me a while to sort of digest what you're supposed to do with them. So there's 3 pages that come in the rub-on set. So these are called the blendables. I'm trying to get all the pieces out of the way that we don't need to look at. Okay, so you've got these pieces here, which are just sort of like, I don't know, graffiti. You've got your words. I mean, this to me is really easy. I can definitely work with this. But these ones here, I sometimes get a little bit stumped. So I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, and I don't know, like, how can I, get these to work on the background and so on. And then, stupid me, I happened to look up at the package, and right here, it shows you examples of how you can use the pieces together. I really liked the word chronicle, and I wanted to use that as the title on my page. And my thought was to layer it on top of this piece here somehow. So what I did was I peeled the backing back, like away from the back here, and I brought this over here, and I just was sort of hovering above this piece here to see if it would fit on, and it jumped down on here. And as you can see, my rub-on that was here is now here, and there is no getting that off. So I ruined it. So that is how good these rub-ons are. They just jump right on. It's just amazing how nice they are to work with, but you have to be careful. My advice is to cut out what you need. So you can see here, I've cut this out. I've cut this out. Don't place your whole sheet over top of anything. Yeah, because I could not use the word chronicle anymore. So I was really bummed about that. So then when I was looking at this, I thought, okay, I like this doing all the things. Like that really is November for me, because you're doing the fall thing, you're doing the intro to Christmas thing, you're just doing all the things. So I actually quite liked this. So I thought, well, I'm going to try to recreate that. But it does show you on here kind of how you can layer up the different pieces and use them together, because you can rub-ons on top of rub-ons. And it's really easy to do. So if you look at the title on my page, let's bring it over here. And you look at this amazing title right here. They look really similar. So what I did was I took one of these background pieces. So here's an example of one. This is the text one. So I chose the one that was a little bit longer. And I rubbed that onto this notebook piece right here. So I started out with my notebook piece this way. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get the title all on there before I start cutting anything. So I rubbed the rub-on on, and I rubbed the doing all the things over top. And then there's even some rub-ons that have these circles. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, down here. So right here, they have the circle and then the stars. I actually put that on, but I ended up not liking it so much for what I was doing. So I ended up putting a flower cluster over top, but you can see that ring coming through from the back, which I don't mind. I think that looks really good. So lots of layering. So you're going to do your text piece, then you're going to do your doing, and then you're going to do all the things. And then I did the circle, and there are some stars under there, but I ended up not using those. So they just got covered up. But that's how I created it. And then what I did was I cut my title piece down, this one here, to the size around the die cuts that I wanted. And it ended up being that 2 3/4 by 5. So that's where I got this measurement from. And I got rid of all of the brown that's around the outside there because I didn't want that on there. You can see that I kind of worked from this end of the die cut because there's that pink line. Okay. And I loved the way that, I'm trying to find it here, this notebook piece looked at the top. Now that's the way the die cut is. So I tried to kind of mimic that with this. So you can see here that there's this sort of tan paper in behind there. Like I cut the edge off so that the tan wasn't really showing. And I took my scissors and I cut down into these little holes. And I made it like a notebook that I had torn out of a book. And, you know, I kind of scrunched up the pieces and I inked them up. I even ripped one out there so that it's not even in there anymore. So it kind of looks like a torn notebook. And then I distressed the edges and added my inking. And that's how I ended up with my title block. So you just kind of create it yourself. So, but I love the idea of using the rub-ons to create that collaging effect. And then the rub-on that I used, I'm going to find it here. So I've already used mine, so I can't show it to you. This is the rub-on here, the one with the bars. So I cut that out of the paper, and then I used my trimmer and I cut it in half. And then when I cut it in half, the part with the words on it is the part I put on this side of my page. I just layered it on there and I rubbed it on. And then the pieces that I cut off over here, I put on this side and I rubbed it off. And I actually saw that on another layout. And I thought, oh, I love that. And as soon as I added it to my page, because I had all this done already, as soon as I added it, I thought it just really draws in all the colors, and it really drew in the border that I had put along the bottom. And I thought it was brilliant. Like I said, I think I'm going to do a little bit of stamping over here just because there's words on this. So I thought it'd be nice to have some words over here. You don't have to, but I might do that. I have to look through my stash. And I may or may not add some words to my tabs. I don't want it to be too wordy because I already have strips kind of in a few places. So it might be too many words, but we'll see. And I might do some stitching. But somebody just said, Justine says, I love all your attention to detail. So this is what makes a layout go, wow, is all the little bits. Because Thursday I had most of the layout done, took a break, had dinner, cleaned up, came back in. And then I think I added like the hearts, and I added a couple more word strips. And I think I added the rub-ons at that point. What else did I add? That was probably it. Just little things. And then I thought, you know what? I kind of like the idea of doing some stitching, but I stopped. I thought, okay, sometimes you can go too far. But I think I'm going to add the stitching. I really do. Like, I think for me, I'm really going to love it. If you have a sewing machine, you can always do the real stitching, but I know that I can, with just 1 or 2 strands of floss, I can definitely stitch over that. I might add it here and a little bit here, maybe a bit at the top. I don't know. I'll have to see, but I might add some stitching because it's kind of pulling me in that direction. So that's kind of that. Any questions? Oh, I can demonstrate how to use the rub-ons. Does anybody want me to do that? We did do some demonstrating in the last video. If you go onto our YouTube playlist under the calendar series under October, we talked a lot more about the rub-ons. Does your picture fit in the openings, or did you put the frames on top? My frames are on top. Yeah. So you're going to print your photos and then sort of place your frame over your pictures until you're happy with what is showing through, and then just trim your photos down. So the frame is on top of the photo because I wanted all the detail of the frame to be able to show. If you put put your photo on top, you're going to lose some of the stuff that's on the frames. Carolyn, I think you'll add stitching. I think you're right. And again, that's something that I can do in front of the TV. Like when I'm done in my office at 9 o'clock or whatever it is, I go out and watch TV, but sometimes I don't like to just sit there and watch TV. I like listening to the TV, being in the same room as my husband, but I like my hands to be busy. So that's easy for me to pull out my stitching and add that. So it will be done in no time if I choose to go and do it. So Angela says she loves it. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I arrived late. Sorry. Would you show a quick peek at the calendar page, please? I certainly can. I will bring the whole thing back on. Just let me gather up all my things here. And you can see you have lots of rub-ons left. Now, I will say, ladies, I've kind of hinted at it a few times throughout the year that for the title page, I may go back and use some of the extras that have been left over from our layouts. So those might be things that get incorporated into our title page. So hopefully you've heard me talk about that a few times. I did not promise to do that, and I still am not going to promise to do it because I don't know where my creative process is going to take me, but I do have an idea. So again, you have all of these things left over. And there's just so much with this and the all the what do you call it, laser cuts. You can definitely do some fun things with this for sure. So yeah, I don't know, my brain is spinning. I've got lots of things to play with and things to use, like even just little things like this, like the ticket piece, like that might show up on our title page. So it's hard to say where it might go. But here is the 2 pages combined. I love the colors. I love the feel of it. It feels very November-y to me. What is Angela saying? I wouldn't even know where to start with something like this. I need to go watch past videos as it looks like so much fun. Angela, you know where you start? Anywhere you want. You just jump in. You know, you get the bundle because it has, you know, the basic products. Some months we have extra add-ons that we can do, but they're optional. You can choose to crash your stash, or you can buy the add-ons. I know a lot of our customers love the add-ons and they're expanding their collections because of it. There's just so many creative things that you can do. And once you get started, once you dive in, you guys are kind of lucky that you have a jumping off point. At least you have a vision, and then you can kind of alter the vision as you go ahead and create your pages. Maybe you don't like the way I did my clusters. Once you start playing with the product, you think, ooh, you know what? I have an idea. I want to do this. That's the whole idea behind this series. And some of you will copy it verbatim, and that's okay too. But the whole idea behind this is that it's supposed to sort of challenge you in the creative sense that you try different things that you might not try on your own. And you can do them with a little bit of guidance, but really crafting is your own journey. And some people are not very creative, and that's why, you know, the guidance that I provided here is helpful. But some people are really creative and they just need that starting point, and then they just take off with it. So being a copycat is a-okay. I don't mind at all. But it is a lot of fun to try fun and new things. So there's lots of different ways you can go about this. And it's fun either way. And then you end up with a whole album with 12 months done at the end. And it's really, really fulfilling. Like I can't wait to finish up December's page and the title page, and then the whole thing will be done again. Okay, Catherine, your guidance keeps me scrapping. I am not creative without some help, helping out with ideas. Oh, yeah. And I mean, I'm just like you guys. So we did our craft and chat, or I don't know what we call it, create and chat video last night, which by the way was so fun. If you guys have a chance to go back and watch it, like we talked about this, about casing card designs. So there are times when I have to be original. You know, I can't, you know, copy somebody else's layout and call it our calendar layout. Like that's not okay to do. Craft and connect. Thank you. So there are times when I have to be creative, but I get inspiration from lots of different places. And in my card making, sometimes I like to copy somebody else's idea. I don't want to think of something great to do. I see it. I like it. I want to make it. So I get that part of it 100%. Tanya, craft and create is a must attend. Yes, it is. And I've been told it's called Craft and Connect. It is a lot of fun. And that is Sunday nights. We've done it 3 Sundays in a row, and each one gets a little bit better, I think. And we have a plan for the next one. So I have to get working on my email and send it out so that people have a little bit of time to plan. I am pumped about it. I think it's going to be great fun. But yeah, these crafting sessions are a lot of fun too. Although I don't craft live, you know, I try to give you lots of inspiration. I love the craft and create idea. Have joined you once. We'll be doing it again. Oh, yes, please. And you know what? Even if you didn't join us live, you can go back and rewatch it and have your own crafting session while you're watching the video. Like it's there. It lives on our YouTube channel. I have to put it into our playlist so that we keep them all together. That's on my to-do list. But yeah, it's fun. We're building quite a library of videos over on our YouTube channel. And that's why I want you to like our YouTube videos. So again, take a minute right now and just like our video, and also subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss a video. Doesn't mean you have to go running over every time one pops up, but at least you get notifications to let you know there's something new. So I do plan to go live tomorrow with an inspiration video. The girls have been creating card samples like crazy, and I had to go like off the grid last week to get all the stuff done that I needed to get done. So I'm behind on some of my videos, and I'm going to do an inspiration one tomorrow at some point. So watch for the post for that. But you might have some videos to catch up on over on our YouTube channel, and they'll be right there for you when you want something to watch. Anyways, I'm going to sign off for this evening and tidy up my desk. And like I said, I will be back tomorrow. So we'll see you then.